In this session, we're going to cover the show tech-support command and a neat feature that Arista switches provide by default. When you're troubleshooting an issue and find that you need to call support, there are usually a few pieces of information that the support engineer will ask for. The show tech-support command is one of the commands that the engineer is likely to ask you to issue and upload to the case notes. The show tech-support command provides all kinds of useful information, including the running configuration, errors, log files, and others. But what happens if the problem occurred a few hours ago, or even a day ago, and the log data has rolled over? No worries. Arista has a default configuration feature that can help. On all Arista switches, there is a command that issues a show tech-support command every hour. The output of that show tech-support command is then written to flash, and the command is configured to save the last 100 copies of this show tech-support output. The saving of these files is done by taking advantage of Arista's schedule command. The schedule command provides a way for periodic execution of a specific CLI command. The command parameters configure the interval between consecutive execution instances and the maximum number of files that can be created when the command requires writing out to a file. For our show tech support schedule, the command that is enabled by default is schedule tech-support interval 60 max log files 100 command show tech support. So let's see what that looks like in the CLI. We get into config mode by typing config and enter, and then schedule, and we're going to write this out just as the default that's already there for us. So it's schedule tech-support, and then we're going to enter an interval, and in this case, we're going to put in 60, and then a max log files, max-log-files, and we have 100, and then the command that we want to issue. So we type command space and then show tech-support. The show schedule summary command provides a list of commands scheduled for periodic execution. So in our output here, you can see that the show schedule summary command lists the default tech-support command that logs to flash every hour and keeps a max log files of 100. To see or retrieve the files from our hourly show tech-support command, you drop into bash. So from here we can type bash and hit enter, and notice that now we're at the Arista Networks EOS shell. And then we type cd/mount mnt/flash/schedule, and finally /tech-support, and hit enter. Now if we issue the ls command, we can see a listing of our 100 hourly show tech support outputs zipped up for us. So, if you're working with the support engineer and your problem occurred several hours ago, you can upload a current show tech support as well as grab one from the appropriate hour, including going back to yesterday or even further, in this case up to 100 hours, where it may be helpful to compare the outputs of several show tech-support commands. What a great feature, a scheduler that allows us to periodically issue commands and determine how many files to keep. But even better, Arista has already created an important one for you that will run every hour to provide you the ever-important outputs of show tech-support. And with that, this concludes our discussion on the hourly show tech-support scheduler feature.